Awesome. Thanks so much for joining, guys.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Welcome, welcome. Today's topic will be team structure, how to build a team with general partners. I'm excited to have you guys all. We're gonna wait a couple of minutes and then admit a couple other people, but feel free to start joining in on the chat and just let us know where you're from, what's your name, what are you investing in if you're in multifamily, and your Instagram handles. That'd be fun to start with. I'll go ahead and put mine once I find it.
I'll paste everyone from the ARMADA group in there.
Oh, sweet. Okay. See, this is why I have Drew. He's Mr. Tech. He's the best person for organizing us. Let's see if I could look at a gallery. Amazing. Yeah, we couldn't have some, next time we'll figure out how to put some music on, but for now we're excited to just hear your voices and see what you guys are about. Let's see. I just put ask to unmute for the people who've got their screens on. How's it going, Ciel and David and Jay? So Drew is part of our ARMADA group and our investment, basically our organizer, and he helps keep us in check. Everything we're doing in our meetings. Did David just say, hey, girl?
Hey, Andrea.
How's it going?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to chat with you guys and get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, I chatted with you a while back ago on, I want to say it was, who was that? I think it was on Fornelli's.
Which one?
On the Fornelli's, David and Amanda.
That's right. Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. See?
Yeah.
How you doing?
RPM.
Yeah, RPM. There you go.
There you go. Are you still part of it?
Of course I am.
Love it.
Yeah.
I know it's fantastic how they were able to scale up their business and basically invest in a hotel.
Yeah, well, I haven't done that yet, but yeah, she's due any day now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, I got a few future plans that I want to do also out here in Palm Springs. So we'll see how they work out.
You're out in Palm Springs?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I live right around the corner from them.
Oh, love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody with their video on, I'm just going to ask you to unmute if you guys want to come on and just let us know if you're in multifamily already or what area you're investing in. What's your buy box? Okay. There's a lot of people joining. Okay. We're going to give it another minute and then we're going to get started, guys. Thanks for joining on a Wednesday night. Exciting topics of multifamily foundations. Drew and I are going to head this call and nobody, I don't think I can think of anybody better to come on and really explain to you like what our processes are and how we were able to find each other. It really is like dating, guys. Very professional
Yes,
dating.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Process of elimination, but also, you meet amazing people along the way.
We're excited to have everyone. I think we're about 6 minutes after. I think we should go ahead and get it rolling here.
Okay.
I'll keep admitting people as they pop in. Let me go ahead and start the screen share.
Yes, let's get it started. I'm excited. You guys feel free to put in the chat any questions you might have along the way. This time I'll go through and look through it, and also where you're at in your multifamily journey. If you're already part of a team, and if you're not, also if you already know if you're a visionary or an integrator. All right, we're going to get started. There's Drew with all his tech stuff.
Are you seeing the...
I'm seeing your tech screen, Drew, but we're going to focus in on the presentation, how to build a team with general partners. So far, you're sharing your tech screen. There we go.
Sorry, I selected the wrong one. There we go.
There we go.
All right, well,
Thank you guys for joining. We're going to be doing this every other Wednesday night. So 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing another topic about multifamily foundations. I'm very excited to chat with all of you. I've been in multifamily real estate for the last 6 years, and I've done Hey guys, how are you doing? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, sorry about that, Andrea. I muted everybody, and that also affects hosts. I did not know that.
No worries. I just want to give a quick intro of who I am and who Drew is, but we're going to go ahead and educate you guys a little bit more about how to build a team and just how to find general partners and what to focus on with this whole journey. It's things that people really don't talk about in the beginning. And what we wanted to emphasize to you is that it's not such a scary journey as long as you have the right tools and resources and the team that backs you up in this. So we're going to move on to the next slide. I'm happy to see a few people here, actually. David's here. Peter, Tia's here. Oh, awesome, guys. Edward, Ronald, Franz, Kennedy, Lorena. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I recognize a couple of you guys. So like I said, again, feel free to put in your Instagram handles if you found a team already. If you haven't, well, you're in the right place. Feel free to network in the chat as well and just keep it professional, keep it light, but just be upfront about who you are and what you bring to the team. So for today's agenda, we're going to be discussing number 1, multifamily freedom chaser community, number 2, the introduction, and what the main topic will be, which is how to build a team with general partners. And then we're going to leave for a Q&A. We want to make sure that we're going to keep this to under an hour or under so that we respect your time. You can get back to your families, your dinners, whatever you need to do. And that way, you know that this recording will also be on YouTube. But it's better to have it live, honestly, so that we can feel free to network and interact with one another and ask questions live. And you won't get this interaction really anywhere else for free. All right, next step.
Yeah, and just a note, we'll hold off in questions until the end. So if you do have questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat during our presentation. We'll try to answer those as we're going, but we'll leave any questions we want to bring up for the whole group to the end. So when we cut to that point, use the reactions button on your Zoom to raise your hand, and we'll call on people who have their hand raised. We'll unmute you, and we can have a fun little conversation.
Right. Awesome. So just to give you a quick download of the multifamily freedom chaser community, first stop is if you really are kind of a passerby, a visitor of sorts, when you say, hey, thanks for the free education, but no thanks, it's not for me, multifamily is too much. The second type of a person that we've seen come through the community is somebody who's like a passive investor. So they love multifamily real estate. However, they'd rather be becoming an active operator. It's a lot of more work than they thought, which is understandable. So they would rather become a passive investor and let others do the work, meaning that they would rather be like a limited partner of sorts. And then there's the person who's an actual active operator, which is someone like me, someone like Drew, and we love multifamily real estate. We want to be active participants in it and an operator, and we're ready to take it further to the next level. So just know where you're at in the journey and identify that for yourself so that you know how you can network with other people and maybe create better relationships and partnerships just by being clear about it.
There's room for everyone.
Yes.
Here.
And just a quick overview of the multifamily freedom chaser preferred partners. I'm not sure. Do you see if Trevor's on right now?
I have not seen him join.
Okay. No worries. So I can give you an overview of this. Essentially, I actually refer a lot of people to this Preferred Partners program because you can be able to get exclusive MFC discounts. Some people are just starting off in their journey. So I say, hey, come to the Freedom Chasers Partners page and you can get 50% off the Michael Blanc syndicator, or maybe go into people's groups like Vina Jetty or, paid partnerships, but you get them at a discount just by going and joining and going into these pages. So essentially what we've done is they've been able to partner with elite level education educators and mentorships and be able to bring this all to you with a discount or something that would be able to provide you better value if you are actually really looking to dive in. And if you want to become a preferred partner, just book a call with Trevor Walker. I can be able to put his information in the chat a little bit later.
Multifamily Freedom Chasers family, I have exciting news for you all. We are launching our Preferred Partners program for the community. You as a community member, as a Freedom Chaser, have access to this right now for free. So what is the Preferred Partners program? It is a program designed when you are ready to accelerate your multifamily real estate journey. You are ready to invest in yourself, to level up your education and business building experience. This is the place to go. These are the partners and resources that we have invested into and we use hands-on that have helped us level up in our multifamily journey. So pretty cool. Our preferred partners that are part of this list, it continues to grow, but right now they have over $2 billion of assets under management. Super cool. High-level teams and high-level operating individuals. So let me walk you through this here really quickly. We have Gabe Bowling's real estate training, Mastering Multifamily with Vina Jetty with her educational vault. Rockstar Capital and Robert Martinez, they have several different educational options. If you need mindset and performance coaching, we got Keston Glasgow with Purpose Ways. The Mirror Machine, website, funnels, marketing, everything you need there. Self-directed retirement services with Horizon Trust, CRM, an underwriting multifamily course with Ken Gee himself. And then if you don't have the funding, but you're ready to accelerate your multifamily journey and invest in yourself and invest in your business, we have DEC Global Enterprises where you can get no interest funding to fund those type of investments. So take advantage of the Preferred Partners program of the Multifamily Freedom Chasers, and let's continue our chase for freedom together.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you, Trevor.
Multifamily Freedom Chasers family.
All right. I wanted to say thanks so much, you guys, for being able to put in the chat whether you can be a key partner, a general partner, some contact info. I mean, that's always helpful just so you guys can get to know one another and just network in the chat as well. Also, community like no other. Every other Sunday, whenever there's an announcement, we do a multifamily activation Zoom with Marcel, Trevor, and Victor, the OGs of the MFC family. And then Monday nights with Peter. I think he's on the Zoom. So he's a great resource for you guys for broker talks with Ed as well. And every other Tuesday, or I think it's every Tuesday, it's actually napkin underwriting. So there's different topics they discuss as well, not just napkin underwriting, but returns is what happened last week. That's also on Zoom. And alternating Wednesdays is with Jerry and Shelly, the Miles family, and they're going to be discussing financing for your deals. So if you have questions about the financing, how to get bridge debt, long-term debt, you can be able to connect with them every other Wednesday. And then it's us at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time about different topic every week for the next couple of, for the next couple of months. So we're always happy to take on any questions you might have. Also, if you have a special topic, feel free to suggest it too. We're always happy to provide you with a little bit more value and just answer some of your questions as well. Thank you.
And just a note, there's already a question in the chat about this, but yes, the Zoom is being recorded and MFC does make these available for rewatch after the fact. So hopefully you registered to get follow-up emails. All right, I think with that, let's turn it to the group to say hi and get some introductions.
Yeah, definitely. I'd actually like to hear from a few of you that have your camera on and you were the brave ones to come into this group. You know, I mean, some of us are a little bit more seasoned, some of us are not. So, I mean, where are you guys from? Are you investing anywhere in the US, Ohio, LA? Where are you guys from? Let us know who you are.
Raise your hand. We'll ask you to unmute.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Do you say your name Lane?
Lene.
Lene. Hey, how's it going, Lene?
Oh, great. I own an 8-apartment complex in over in Idaho, very, very rural area. And I'm looking to try and get into apartment complexes on the East Coast or east side of the states anyway. I have not found any that the numbers work yet down in Florida, but I'm kind of looking up toward Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, that area. I'm just starting to kind of look in that area. I don't know the areas, but I'm just kind of looking at places to see if the numbers work out.
Got
Exciting.
And I
you.
would need partners.
You come to the right place. There's a whole room full of folks here to network with, and yeah, if anyone, what parts of the East Coast are you looking at, Lene?
Like I said, I'm open for like Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina,
All right, yeah,
even
anyone
maybe even to
operating,
Tennessee.
yeah, anyone operating those areas, throw it in the chat and get some connections made there. Hopefully, we can do a little
I
math.
used to have some single rentals in state of Washington. That's where I came from a few years back.
Wow.
So I sold those though a couple years ago.
Awesome. Well, you're moving up in the world with the multifamily.
You
All
seem
right.
really experienced and you're definitely in the right place to find partners.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Pleasure.
you.
If some of us don't have money, at least we have either experience or we might have other resources, capital partnerships, or maybe we're good at talking to others like brokers. You know, you'll be able to, if you looked at our Zoom from last week, we discussed how to identify potential partners, but we're happy to at
Okay.
least here so that you know the operations side of it.
All right. Well,
Thank
thank you very
you.
much.
Thanks. All
Awesome.
right, let's say hi to Ronald and Mary.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Hey
You guys
there.
hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, my name's Ronald, my wife, Mary Jane. We're based out of San Antonio, Texas. I'm originally from Boston, Mass. So yeah, we're investing in our backyard here in San Antonio. We're coming from the single family residential space, you know, looking to scale, and multifamily seems like the right place to really scale, and kind of got introduced to it from Rock Cleave's boot camp, and we're part of the Warrior program there. One of the Warriors recommended Freedom Chaser, so you know we try to join these calls when we can. Looking for our first GP deal. Our superpower is pretty much Mary Jane underwrites, and I'm calling brokers and sourcing deals here in San Antonio, and looking to build out our team also. And yeah, that's pretty much our background.
Good stuff. Well, we will definitely be talking about partnerships, but it's awesome that you two have your own little partnership to start off with.
Is it just you guys doing all the acquisitions and the broker talks, or are you working with a team as well to help you with the underwriting and the capital partnerships?
It's just us. The Warrior program provides Michael Blunk's underwriting tool, so we use that, and just connecting with other warriors in there to kind of learn how to acquire and how to get a deal flow going. So just pretty much us learning as we do.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. Ronald makes the broker calls and then he tosses the numbers over the fence to me. So we work.
You guys are the power couple. I see that. Do you also have a kid as well that's depending on the multifamily passive income?
Yeah, we single family, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, feel free to put your info in the chat and we can be able to see if we can find you guys some capital partners or maybe a key sponsor that can support your deals.
Looks like Robert says he's in San Antonio too, so you
Yeah.
link up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. Well, thanks, folks. Let's say hi to Edward here. Yeah.
Oh, I'm Edward Kempen. Yeah, I'm based in Michigan. I've got several syndicated deals across the country. Looking for my first GP though. Kind of got a few leads on some, depending on the area. Looking at different groups of experts. One might be a partnership with another established organization and established fund, so that might be a little bit different. But any great opportunity, I just looking to network and develop a relationship in pretty much anywhere. Some of the deals I've looked at are in down in Dallas and Ohio, and mostly in Michigan locally, so that I can actually easily put boots on the ground to check it out. My current portfolio, I've got a bunch of, I think I got 16 units that I individually own, that I'm kind of in the process of rolling those on a 1031 into whatever deals I can find. So
Trying to scale up. Are those all single families that you're
um,
gonna move into?
I got 2 single families and 6 other properties, duplexes and 1 fourplex.
That's great. All right. Yeah, good. That's a great foundation to build off of. All right. Well, yeah. Anyone wanted to connect with Edward? Reach out. We got a good group of folks here tonight. Please remember to put your contact info in the chat and reach out to each other.
Yeah.
This is a great
And thanks for
opportunity.
leaving your intro to less than a minute. Edward, you've nailed your elevator pitch down. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right, we have time for one more person. I think Robert said he wanted to come on. Let us know what's going on, Robert. Thanks, Edward.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, let me introduce myself. Robert, I'm from the San Antonio, Texas. I'm a construction contractor right now, and I've done a lot of work for investors, so I'm looking to get on the investor side of things. I did used to own a franchise, Firehouse Subs, and so like operations side of things, I think it's very similar to apartments. It's just a different product. And yeah, Ronald and Mary, if you want to link up, you know, I'm gonna be going to the Brad Sumrock event here on Friday. So if anybody's going there, you know, let's connect. Because I did meet Trevor and the Multifamily Freedom Chasers at the Michael Blanca event. So that's how I got introduced to you guys.
Awesome. Well, hey, who wouldn't want to have a contractor to partner with?
Exactly.
I mean,
Epic.
so you guys definitely need to reach out to Robert and say hi. All right. Thanks, Robert.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Let's
you.
go ahead and head into the actual presentation here.
Let's do it.
Andrea, do you want to
Did you screen share? Amazing. Awesome. Let's move on. Thank you guys for coming. I want to do a quick disclaimer that we're not attorneys, financial advisors, or tax advisors, and the purpose of this series is for information purposes only. So before making any investment decision, you should consult with your own financial advisor or personnel. I mean, people in this group too. No, but I'm happy you guys are investing in your education. This is a free community, but we want to remind you that any other paid partnerships, you know, those are in the realm of $40,000, $100,000. And I don't regret spending money on my education when I first started off in real estate, because you definitely get to know and understand a little bit more about what you're getting yourself into, but try not to make it an analysis paralysis situation. You know, we want to go ahead and actually put to work the information we learned from this. Thanks, Drew. Awesome.
Okay.
Moving on to Drew.
Tonight, welcome. We are talking about understanding the roles, responsibilities of being partners. Last session that we hosted, we talked about finding the right people to join your team and the specific roles that you need to build out a multifamily operating group. Tonight, we're going to talk more about what it actually looks like to work together in a team. Everyone comes from different backgrounds. We all have different work histories, personal histories, and, you know, really just the first thing to understand is that multifamily investing is not single family investing. It is a different beast. And you can run solo, you can run and gun and be a solopreneur and pick up, kind of like Edward was talking about. He built a beautiful portfolio of you know, single family homes and small multi. But when you start getting into larger properties, you need a team around you with, you know, skills and everything that you yourself might not have. And you need to learn how to hand off the duties respectively, both for just pure operational needs, but as well as you'll see in a little bit, even down to like what the IRS looks at in your business. So we've broken this down into kind of 4 foundations of teamwork, things that you will need to operate your business with other people: communication, time commitments, shared resources, and responsibilities. All these 4 points work together to uphold your values that you create as a team, as a group, as a business. And really the key to having good partners is making sure that you yourself are a good partner to start with. So the first one, communication. This is so vital. If anyone who's ever worked in a company or been in a relationship or been in a family or anything knows that communication is key. Most disagreements happen because of unmet expectations. People had a different view and a different understanding of what their part was, what someone else's part was, and you can end up talking past each other because you're starting from a different understanding of what everyone had agreed to. So setting regular communications with your team is vital. You should start with regular meetings, whatever that looks like for wherever you guys are in your business. When you're just getting together, maybe once a week is fine because you're getting to know each other. You're getting a lot of just kind of core stuff set up, but you're not really, operating actual properties yet. So agree to a time, make sure everyone's agreed to it, make sure that you show up on time, you're committing to each other out of integrity, and that you hold that time sacred. Don't let people, schedule over it with other things and say, oh, hey, I can't, make it this time because I had another meeting or something like that. Group time needs to be really sacred. It is core to your operations. On top of that, then you need your ad hoc communications. That just means things that come up as needed. So that's your Slack or Teams or whatever communication tools you use, email, obviously, to just reach out to say, hey, here's updates on that thing, or hey, I have a question, or hey, here's that file that we were looking for. You need to track your work. You need to track what you're working on. We use we use Trello in our group. It's just a board of, hey, here's the specific project we're working on, things we're underwriting, and it shows the status of each one. So everyone can always just go and check it and understand where we are in the process. It's really basic project management. It's, you can use these tools for free, and it is so vital to make sure that everyone is on the same page. And then beyond those regular team communications, you should all get together in person. This is really important for us. We have 4 partners, 4 GPs in our group, and we're scattered kind of across the country. So we get together at least twice a year in the same city to attend meetups, to meet with other people in the industry, or even go to other meetups that are actually not our investor industry, so that we can find investors. One of our partners is a doctor, and so he actually goes to healthcare conferences and actually meets a lot of people with money who actually would love to invest. And then lastly, virtual networking, which is what we are all doing right this very minute. Make sure you're showing up in these sorts of opportunities and reaching out to folks. Time commitments. This is vital. You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna work on real estate, I'm gonna be an investor, and then just never actually spend any time on it. You yourself have to commit to, here's what I have available to work with, and let your team know that, like, hey, this is how much I can do per week. Again, for the 4 of us, we all have core day jobs on top of our investing journey. So we have to work around that. We're also in different time zones. Some of us have families. So we have to be really upfront with ourselves, again, so that we have the understanding of what was agreed to, and we have those expectations, and we're not saying, wait a minute, why aren't you spending 12 hours a day on this? Well, I never agreed to that, but I can give you 10 hours a week or whatever that is for you where you are. So commit to those regular meetings. And then for you yourself, when you have those meetings, make sure that you're committing. Everyone in your team is committing to certain things that you can deliver to each other. Hey, this week, I am setting this one primary lead measure. I'm going to do this task that I know will fundamentally shift our ability to move forward as a group. And I'm committing to you guys that I'm going to finish that by our next meeting. And then I step away and I time box that. I put that on my calendar and I say, I'm going to get that done. Here's the time at which I'm going to do it. I'm going to have it done by this date so that I'm not racing in the like minutes and hours before our next meeting to try and wrap it up. That is a commitment you make to yourself and to your group. And then lastly, anything you care a lot about, you should be thinking about it, ruminating on it, even when you're not having that sort of heads down work time or meeting time. If you really want this to be the future of your career and your life, let it kind of permeate your everyday when you're doing things that are not, air quotes, work, right? When you're going for a run or you're, at the grocery store, let it kind of work in the back of your mind. Albert Einstein wrote 5 of his groundbreaking theses, submitted scientific papers, including the E equals MC squared theory of relativity, while he was doing a day job working as a patent clerk in Switzerland. That was not him saying like, oh, here's my like main time where I'm working and like, sketching out theories. He was doing another job, but like thinking about it throughout the day. So make sure you are setting time for yourself to go for walks, to, do things that are unstructured, because there's something neurochemically that is when the good ideas start to come in. So balance that with your heads down time and you will move forward. Let's switch it back to Andrea.
I was going to ask you guys, let me ask you guys, can you put a 1 in the chat if you leave at least 1 hour a day to commit to multifamily education or underwriting or something dedicated to multifamily? Please put a 1 in the chat. That way I know who are the dedicated people in here. Awesome. I love it. Sweet.
Everyone's got an hour.
Yes. Everybody has an hour. Okay.
And
that's really what it takes, guys.
If you don't think you have an hour, put a 2 in the put a 2 in the chat. If you watch TV,
Melinda has 3 times the time. So, I've been in multifamily real estate for the last, I would say 6 years now. And some days I would work like 12 hours a day, and it's a lot, whenever you take it in the beginning, but it's just the best way to not get overwhelmed is just dedicate 1 hour. That's your power hour of multifamily real estate or emails or underwriting or calling brokers. This is why this resource to you guys is free, so that you understand Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Thursdays, you could be able to link into the MSC community and see how we're doing broker talks or at napkin underwriting. So I'm so happy to see you guys can dedicate some time to this. But yeah, next up about what we're going to discuss is in regards to that, is how we have the resources and we can share that with one another in the team tools. So shared resources multiply impact. I can't tell you how many resources we share with one another. So first things first, when you are, you know what, let me actually stop the presentation. If you can stop screen share. I want to tell everybody, I have been to other building multifamily teams or building syndication teams, and not everybody will discuss what we're going to tell you guys tonight, just because they don't discuss the nitty gritty, and they might gloss over, this is your syndication team, like their general partners, your money team, your property team. But we want to go in and tell you guys there's certain tools that are available to you so that you can be able to link up with other people and just get the ball rolling. All right, let's go back to the presentation. Thanks, Drew. I went on my little rant. Okay, team tools and resources. So for cloud storage and files, make sure that you guys can all have like a shared cloud storage. So like a Google Drive or a Dropbox, AWS, pCloud. There's so many resources out there so that you guys can either share files, resources, different courses that you might have access to each other because you trust one another. There's also mentorships and templates that you can all share, such as pro formas or maybe broker scripts, you name it. I also have access to some portals like title companies that can give me lists of potential leads, like multifamily that's been owned for over 50 years. And you can probably get access to those access portal logins depending on who is in your team, or maybe you can reach out to somebody who has like a co-star access. I mean, this is why we network in these chats, so that we can get to know others who are potentially brokers and they have this kind of an access. There's also coaching assessments we could all take with one another, CRM, team discounts. We're using, I believe, Cashflow Portal at the moment. And then there's in-person trainings and conferences that you can all connect with one another and share that impact, so that you can continue to build your network and you can continue to see how you can build your capital, because everybody in the team needs to be raising capital. Thank you so much. Let's move on. All right, and then I think this one's mine too. Well, but I mean, overall, it's just designating responsibilities with one another. I did put a note in this slide just because one of the preferred partners, Vina, was able to really sit down with us and do a Zoom on this with all four of us about an equity split. So if you guys are trying to figure out, should we divide, let's say it's a team of 4, should you divide the equity splits as 100%? So that would be 25% for 4 people, or should it be based on the level of responsibilities you have with one another? And this is what we did. We essentially understood that disagreements are mostly caused by unmet expectations, and we don't want that for our group. So we have to agree and document. And we did this by, if you guys want, you can get a discount by going to the preferred partners and understanding what is an equity split sheet, or maybe you might have your own. But essentially what it breaks down to is understanding who's going to be doing in your group. It could be 2 people, it could be 3, 4. I mean, as long as your general partners are justified to the lender and the IRS, these people need to be responsible for the acquisitions and the deal sourcing, somebody to handle the due diligence, the debt and equity raising, how much split is going to go to the loan guarantor, the KP, the key partner, the principal, and then overall the operations and the asset management. That's a huge portion of it. So we understand Drew is our asset manager and he gets a big split because that's a lot of work. And also who also handles just like the miscellaneous stuff, who's going to end up handling the internal stuff like the websites, the social medias, you name it. You want your team to understand what are their responsibilities, how often to check in with one another. And that is all part of what makes all this work as a team. All right, next, let's see. And like I said before, guys, you want to justify your general partners to your lender because it is a business. You have to take it seriously. And at the end of the day, whenever you go to a lender and you're presenting a deal, they want to understand that if you have 40 general partners, what is the role of all these general partners? How are they actually crucial to the deal? Because you can't have a huge amount of general partners in a deal. That's just really unheard of unless it's potentially a 506c raise. But even then, the core people who help build your team together need to be, their roles and responsibilities need to be clear whenever you're doing an investment presentation deck of your group to a lender or maybe to a potential mortgage broker, you name it. It's just, you have to be able to justify your general partners to the IRS and to your lender. Just remember, the more GPs, the lesser the split. So remind yourself that when you're looking for other people who you can trust in your potential general partner group.
Yeah, if you try and pull together, 9 GPs, you may think like, oh, great, this will be such a lighter load. Well, it's also going to be a lighter equity split.
Right. And this is the end of it. I mean, we wanted to parse this into small portions. And then my specialty is particularly underwriting. So I'll be doing a series and education on underwriting and just overall comps, what to look for in the due diligence side. That's all part of the curriculum we're going to be educating you guys on over the next couple of months. But tonight is just to get the meat and potatoes of the actual understanding of what is in a general partnership group. There's Avishkar that works as our team lead in investor relations. He's the money guy. I'm the underwriter. I'm the brain of the operation when it comes to understanding what is involved in the intricacies of underwriting a deal. So, and my specialty has been affordable housing over the last 6 years. So if you guys have questions about that too, feel free to message me on Instagram or any of the handles. Drew is our star for tonight as well. So he's helping out with the head of operations and asset management of the group. And then Antoine heads up the broker relations and tax strategies of what we're doing with our acquisitions. And we're striving to help you guys just find more education and more understanding and just take action with the first deal.
And a little bit more in my background. I come from the corporate world, so I'm used to working in really massive teams where you have to coordinate a lot of people working a lot of different roles. And so part of what tonight's presentation came out of is how we've structured our process. We've really built, everything, like we said, from communication to time commitments into how we operate. And that has allowed us to actually get a lot of stuff done in a relatively short amount of time and make sure that we are checked off on everything that we're trying to accomplish. There are certain books I would recommend if you want to understand business process within a group. 4 Disciplines of Execution is a great one. And then the EOS system, which I'm absolutely blanking on the book name at the moment. It's the same author as Rocket Fuel. I'm sure somebody in the chat knows it. Come on, call it out, shout it out. EOS, nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Sorry, you're the only geek in here, Drew. I'm sorry.
Gina Wickman. It is the book. I'm sorry, I should have had this.
It's all right.
Yeah, but these are just essentially different process systems for getting people traction. Thank you, Kyle.
There you go.
Rocket Fuel is sort of the follow-up once you've gotten traction and the EOS system implemented in your group. Rocket Fuel is the way to now take it to the next level. But yeah, they're just different ways to kind of structure your team and give break down really large goals like, hey, we want to own $1 billion in real estate within 5 years, down to something more manageable and tangible and immediately actionable. It's hard to go after things as big as multifamily real estate without a roadmap. And so there are just little tools you can learn along the way to get you going. And again, networking, community, and then building your own team and your own skill set is vital. So now I think we need to hear from you guys.
Well, I just want to remind everybody too, before we move on to the Q&A, all of this works with one another is if you guys share the same values. So we had to have a long conversation amongst each other. And I'm going to go quickly, but this is a quick conversation. This is very important that you guys must share the right values and where you're headed to as a team. Because if you have somebody who's not willing to dedicate the time, doesn't see a huge portfolio acquisition in their future, doesn't know why they're in this space, that's a good question to understand. So I would recommend you guys talk about values and overall where you see yourselves in 5 years. Drew had us do one of these exercises and it was great. All right, now moving on to the Q&As. Anybody, feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions. I'm gonna stop the spotlight on all of us, but yeah, thank you so much, Drew, for helping me out with this presentation and just being able to be part of this. Feel free to raise your hands if you have any questions. I think I did address some questions in the chat, but if you had a couple more, feel free to raise your hands. We've got a couple more minutes left. Let's see. You know what I'm wondering is if, oh, there you go. Nagar, is Nagar on here? I think she was asking if we're looking for team members. So overall with what we're doing, my goal was 100 units. Here we go. Feel free to unmute if you guys would like to. Yes, Robert, what are your questions?
I just want to know for everybody who's in here, what is getting into multifamily? Was that one of the best things you ever did?
Yes, it
That's my-
definitely was.
Yeah, see, that's
It
everyone.
was. I mean, you know what's interesting? I didn't think we have this mentality in the beginning, honestly, where some of us don't know if we're capable of dedicating certain amounts of time to this sport. It feels like a sport, honestly, because there's so much involved in multifamily. It's not just building the team, but also the skill sets it takes to see if you can underwrite a deal, go through the due diligence. At the moment right now, I never thought I would be underwriting and handling an acquisition of a 1,200 unit portfolio, but that's what I'm doing. That's my day job. So in order to feel like you're worthy of people bringing you money to your deals, it all starts with mindset too, is seeing how if you feel worthy of meeting people with high net worth or just having an actual interest in helping others. That's the biggest point about this community, is just my desire to help you guys and understand that it's not such a scary journey if you tackle it 1 hour at a time.
I'll just say one thing. I haven't met one single person who said they regret getting into multifamily.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I will
Okay.
give you another disclaimer in this. This is one of the most litigated industries that you will find. It's real estate, medical, and legal that are the most litigated. So just be sure whenever you are forming your general partnership team that you do have the right people on your team, your third parties, like your attorneys, your syndication attorneys. And we're going to discuss that next week. The people that you should have on your team, because they're going to be the people that can help you out with forming your group and your LLCs for not only the property, but the managing operating account LLC and your own general partnership LLC. And each one of those will probably have living trusts within them. So it's structured differently, but when you start seeing those $100,000, $60,000 distribution checks, it is quite phenomenal.
But like I said at the beginning, though, it is also a very different beast. So just know what you're getting into and find partners who fill the gaps that you don't have. Everyone here has some strength, right, to bring to the table. Maybe you're just like a fearless person who can just go network and raise capital, and you love just talking with people, and you're just a natural born connector like that. Awesome. That maybe you're not as strong on the process, or you're not as strong on some of the the detail stuff or the underwriting like Andrea does. That's fine. You can come to the table with this. Hey, here's my skill. I need somebody to fill this gap. And that's the beauty of this business versus, like I said at the beginning, being a solopreneur and just picking up small properties one after the other yourself. People become very successful doing that. People become very successful doing this, and not everyone loves to do each of these. Figure out what is right for you. But we are here to say that it is a pretty exciting business to get into.
Yeah.
Let's go to Ronald and Mary Jane again. Hey guys.
Oh, were they able? Oh,
No,
sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, we probably right now.
Okay.
There we go.
No, I wanted to ask you guys on how did you and your partners meet, and what's the story on that?
Yeah, I'll take that. Really fast, kind of fun. So the four of us are actually all part of the sub 2 community with Pace Morby, and even though we live in different parts and invest in different parts of the country, I and two of the others invest primarily in Ohio. And so Ohio has its own accountability group. And so we were connected through there. One of our partners, Antoine, who's actually the head of the AG for Ohio, called me up and was like, hey man, I've never really done anything in larger properties, but I got a lead on this building, this 40 unit that said that they're open to seller financing. I would love to try and do something with this. I just don't know where to start. And this all came up just after PACE had come out to a meetup in Southern California that I'd been able to attend, where PACE was like, hey, look at all the number of people. There's like 200 people at this meetup. He's like, look around you. If everyone here could raise $15,000, that multiply that by everyone here, you all should be working together to take down giant properties as a group, team up, squad up, as he used to say. And so we were like those of us, like if you guys know Mitch Roy and Richard Knowles, we were all talking and getting really excited about this and like, okay, what do we actually do with this? And so Antoine called me up, said, hey, I've got this thing, but I don't know how to do it. I said, I know people who can get us going. So we pulled in some of those folks, Mitch and Richard. We pulled in then Avishkar, and we were all talking, trying to get this started. And then we had met Andrea, who came on the accountability group and started talking about how she does underwriting. And we're like, well, we need to pull her in too. And we just through networking, through talking, getting to know each other and learning each other's strengths, we identified like, oh my gosh, amazing underwriter. Okay, process guy. Okay, broker relations, investor relations. And we just really realized like, hey, we communicate well. We seem to have the same vibe and same values and goals. And from there, we were able to start moving. So, when we say network, get to know each other, reach out to people, like we really mean it. That is how this happens.
Yeah, even if you guys are driving, that's fine. Turn on your cameras. No, but be safe.
Be safe, please.
Be safe, really.
Pull over.
Thanks, Drew. That's a really quick synopsis of how we got to know each other. But yeah, it's great. Like just when you can find people who can complement each other's skill set. And Drew is amazing at he has his own single family investments and rentals, but I would realize he's a whiz at website development, social media content, presentation decks. So to make us look legitimate to lenders, we rely on him. I'm the numbers girl. He's the presentation guy and the brains behind the operation. And then we've got people to raise money. We have people to bring us leads. So it's good to understand quickly, like how to be with one another. Did Kennedy want to come on? I don't see.
Real quick, I want to reply to Nagar's question in the chat. She was asking if we're looking for team members. So we are set for GPs as our core group. However, we're always able to bring someone in a different way. That's not necessarily a GP role, but there are opportunities. If someone brings you or us say an off-market property that we end up acquiring, or if they're able to help with capital raising, there are opportunities to bring people in on specific deals and properties without necessarily having to be a GP. And that's the great thing. Like Andrea said earlier, we are this is all kind of dating, committing to like working on a property at a time is the way to get started. You don't have to commit to these people for like the next 10 years of your life. You're not like really, there are ways to structure this that I won't get into, but you can essentially be a sort of a higher level of a JV in sort of structure where you guys can work together on one property, get it going, get it operating, and then decide, hey, you know what, this was a great experience, but I don't know that, it works for us long-term. So you maybe don't work together on the next property, or maybe you do, but just change those equity splits. You might realize your roles. Somebody else maybe stepped up in ways that none of you were expecting. You're like, oh, wow, next time we do this, you should actually take on this role, and we'll compensate you accordingly. And other people might choose to move on. So it's really, it opens up a lot of opportunity to just kind of continuously change your process, change your relationships, and figure out how it works best for you as a group. All right, let's go to Kennedy.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hey there.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. So, I'm Kennedy from Atlanta, Georgia. Great session, guys. I really appreciate you giving us some good education here. Like you said, you can't get anywhere else free. Question I had was, now, when you form in your group, do you do a JV first before you do the go into a GP role?
We do. Right now, we're set up as a JV entities going into these general partner splits. So essentially what we're doing is we're JVing on this because we don't know if it's going to be multiple years with the same partners. And that's the way it's typically structured at my day job. We have JV, joint ventures happening with multiple deals, and it might not be the consistent partners that are part of every single deal. So in the future, we will be solidifying, we might bring on more people, who knows? Some people have life that happens. So for now, it is a JV structure with the GP team.
So would you do NDA, to coincide with that JV? Or?
The NDA,
Yeah.
non-disclosure?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the NDA depends on what it's for. What is this an NDA for? Is it for sharing resources or broker packages? What is it for?
If you want to share a lead that you got and you want to underwrite a property, take down a multifamily property.
I mean, anybody can really do an NDA. If you feel like you're not safe with sharing that information with people in the beginning, just say, hey, this is an NDA just because I'm sharing it with you. But essentially, if that NDA is about a deal specific, it might already be on LoopNet or might already be with a broker. So it just depends on the extent and how extensive that NDA is. But so far, we haven't had any NDAs in this group.
Well, where would you recommend getting, like a template for JV, to put together for your group?
So that's what we're handling with our syndication attorney. So the syndication attorney, when we put a deal under contract, we're able to disclose what are the LLCs that are going to go and how the org chart is going to look, the organization chart for each property. And so the JV structure will be described to our syndication attorney and also the transaction attorney who's handling the transaction. So that I don't think there's really a template. It just depends. It's deal specific, really, and how that deal is going to work out. Because I've had deals at my work where we do limited partner JV splits with a affordable housing foundation, and then in reality, what can happen is that can change in the next deal. So it depends on the deal.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kennedy, for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more question, guys. All right, is it Kyle?
Yes.
Hey, Kyle, thanks for coming on. What's going on? How can we help?
Thanks for putting this on. I'm Kyle and I'm from Ohio. I heard you mention that you invest in Ohio. So first of all, I was just curious kind of what markets you're in. Do you have any deals going currently?
Yeah, our market is Columbus and Cincinnati, Ohio. That's the focus market as a group, and it's between 30 to 150 units, value add properties, and those are the focus markets that we anticipate for the next year at least with our group. Mm-hmm. What's the market that you're in right now?
So I am north of Columbus, but I am looking into Columbus just because I feel like that's probably it's probably the best market in Ohio right now, but also the hottest. So
yeah,
it's crazy. But and my second question was, what would it look like for someone to raise capital in your deals? Like, would you take a fund of funds money?
Do you want me to answer that, Drew?
Take it.
Okay. So with Avishkar is one of our partners that came on last week, and he does fund to funds raising as well for the group. And essentially, he also does the capital raising focus with other partners as well. So it could be fund to funds. right now we're figuring out with
Oh, is this it?
attorneys on how to run those splits. So yeah, I mean, have you thought about starting a fund?
I'm diving into that right now, doing some education on that. So it's definitely something I'm interested in, and I know some people that might be interested in investing in Ohio. So yeah, that's why I was curious about that.
Nice. I appreciate your question, but I can put my Instagram handle in there if you want to discuss the fund of funds, and I believe Avishkar can help you out with a little bit more about either how to set that up and how to calculate your own split in a fund of funds model.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
so much. Awesome. Oh, Drew, can we put on just the last part of it, which is what's happening next? And I actually wanted, if it's all right with you guys, can you smile for the photo? I don't know if you guys can turn on your cameras, but I need a document tonight. I'm happy you guys came on. 1, 2, 3, smile. Awesome. Thanks. Thanks so much. Let's go on to, I think it was the last part of the presentation, which is what's happening next. And September 6th, we're actually discussing your power third-party teams. This first part of the presentation for building your GP team was just part 1. So we want to dive deep into understanding who are these third-party teams. Is it your money team, your property team, and also your transaction team? So it's like people who are like your attorneys, your cost segregation specialists, there's your accountants, your CPAs, there's people who are on the ground who can help you put together the deal. But you need to form these teams and these partnerships and relationships before you get into your first transaction. So that's the name of the game. Keep networking with people. Once you choose a market and you form your team, be sure that you understand who is on the ground and who can help you with starting your entity, who can help you with starting your LLC or putting your deal to the finish line. And then 2 weeks after that, we're going into mindset, how to think about money. And a lot of this will involve about capital raising. So feeling worthy of raising money and where to put yourself so that you can be able to do that. But we're happy that you guys joined us tonight. And just remember to connect with us, Drew, for the Multifamily Freedom Chaser community. If you guys want to come on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, we're here for you guys. Just let us know what questions you might have. And if you're interested in being a capital partner, or if you can bring deals, we're happy to entertain that too. But this is just my way of looking at our community service to you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, you guys. Have a great night. Love it seeing all these people here.